Now, the best way to understand subqueries of any type is to see an example. So let's look at a scalar subquery here. And what I want to do is create the situation. Let me get all my keys set up here. Select, and I want to get the maximum total due or the maximum sale from our sales order header table. Well, at first glance, let's talk about how we might go about this. We'll get the sales order ID. We'll get the max. We'll call the max function. We'll look at total due. And then from sales order header table. Now, you know what's going to happen. If I try to execute this, it's going to give me an error because this right here is trying to return more than one row. And of course, this aggregate is trying to return just one row. So to make that work, what I'm going to have to do is do a group by sales order ID. And then if I do that, let me go ahead and run that and show you. We kind of start to build our way into a mess. It gives them all to us and they're not in any particular order. So now I'm going to have to come back and say order by max total due and make it descending. And if I run that, now there's the max right there. That's the order right there that I'm looking for. But I had to return all this other stuff. Now, let me be the first to say and admit there's about 300 different ways to write a query to get the data I'm looking for here. So I'm going to show you this example. Then I'm going to show you, now what if we turn this into a subquery? And I want you to look how easy this can be. Select sales order ID, total due from sales order header. All right, now I'm going to put a where clause where total due equals, now notice this is where I'm going to put my subquery, and it's a scalar subquery because it's going to return one single value. Sales order header. And so you can see the scalar value here. If I highlight just this select statement and run it, there is the total order. So there's the total due, that's the biggest one. And so then all we have to do is select sales order ID and total due from where that one is. So we'll let that feed the where clause and we'll execute this. And just like that, there is the single sales order that we wanted. This is one of those instances where, and it even makes a little more sense to look at it this way, but this is one of those instances where you can start down a road and write a query, and then you could go back and put a top one. You could start to do all kind of things, and it just kind of gets complex. But if you come in here 6 months from now and read this query right here, it's very, very obvious what's going on here. Now, people who don't like subqueries will say that's a silly idea. All I want you to see is that it's a subquery, it's a scalar subquery. You be the judge of whether you like them, and I will challenge you, run both of these in SQL Profiler, and you'll be kind of surprised a lot of times at how close they are to each other, and then sometimes how far apart they are. But anyway, that is a simple example of a scalar subquery. If you can get your head around what's going on there, you can use these to your benefit in a lot of different situations.